If there is one movie that represents Stephen Chow's lifelong learning and his love for martial arts, it might be Kung Fu Hustle. Released in 2004, this film was once the highest-grossing Chinese-language film in Hong Kong cinema history and was also the 10th highest-grossing foreign-language film in the United States in 2005. It received a 90% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 78% score on Metacritic, and it remains a film that many still discuss today. Stephen Chow has always depicted stories of grassroots individuals in his works. In this film, he continues to tell a story of an underdog rising against the odds to restore justice and dreams. However, unlike before, he integrates 6 meticulously designed martial arts scenes to blend elements of a fashion feast, Hong Kong's past, the evolution of kung fu movies, his favorite films and characters, and his perspectives on life in the film industry. He presents all of these without reservation, and he culminates in a thought-provoking ending that prompts the audience to ponder. What defines a hero? Is it possessing unparalleled martial arts skills or having the courage to live an earnest and grounded life? Today I will explain in detail why, for you, this movie is worth revisiting and appreciating once again. The movie begins with the leader of the crocodile gang attacking the police, leading to the capture of his mistress. This turns out to be a trap set by the Axe Gang to lure the gang leader away and wipe out the crocodile gang members. As soon as the crocodile gang leader leaves the police station, he is ambushed and killed by the Axe Gang. The Axe Gang introduced here actually shares its name with a gang featured in another Chow film, A Chinese Odyssey. After eliminating the crocodile gang leader, the Axe Gang leader is shown against the backdrop of the neon sign named Grand Dragon and Phoenix Restaurant. The term Grand Dragon and Phoenix holds historical significance in Canton, and it has appeared multiple times in Chow's films. There are several noteworthy details here. The cinema next to the police station is named Sing-Huai Cinema, which is also the name of Chow's company. Later in the film, another theater is named Columbia, which happens to be one of the film's distributors. This should be a deliberate Easter egg from Chow. Additionally, the fighting style of the battle between the Crocodile Gang and the Axe Gang may have been inspired by the boxer from Shantung. The montage of various gangs being wiped out may also pay homage to the Godfather's 5 Families massacre sequence. The first appearance of the Axe Gang leader, Sam Gore, includes a line where he claims never to hit women. This serves as a foreshadowing. Later in the film, whenever he appears, he is always surrounded by men, hinting that he might be part of the LGBT community. The scene then shifts to Pigsty Alley, the most iconic setting in the movie. This location resembles the setup of the 1973 film The House of 72 Tenants, but it seems more like a tribute to Hong Kong's infamous Kowloon walled city or possibly a reflection of Chow's childhood home in Kowloon. The film authentically recreates Hong Kong's environment from the 1950s and 1960s. Notably, when Zhang Bao brushes his teeth and suddenly finds the water supply cut off, this references to the 1954 film Taps Off Downstairs. This is a moment that would resonate with those who grew up in Hong Kong during that era. Within just 6 minutes, Chow introduces the film's key characters while planting numerous hints. For example, the landlord seems to be someone who appeals to both men and women. Given his position, could Chow be subtly alluding to the dominance of real estate tycoons in Hong Kong and mainland China? The landlady's appearance closely resembles that of Mrs. Peeman, the landlady from The Mask. Bao and Jane are 2 humorous characters with ties to various figures in the film and are surrounded by many hidden references. Additionally, the name Pigsty Alley holds a deeper meaning, which I will analyze later. The brief piece of Pigsty Alley is disrupted when Chow and Bone arrive. They impersonate members of the Axe Gang, causing chaos and eventually attracting the real Axe Gang to the scene. This marks the first minor climax of the film. Chow's entrance is quite striking. He performs some soccer tricks in front of kids before stomping on the ball and flattening it. This scene carries a deeper meaning. It may symbolize Chow's self-denial of Shaolin Soccer. The success of Shaolin Soccer had swept the Hong Kong Film Awards, earning Chow multiple accolades. However, Chow is not one to remain stagnant. By stomping on the ball, he seems to be telling the audience that while they are still discussing Shaolin Soccer, he's already moved on. As Chow enters Pigsty Alley, there is an interesting advertisement behind him. It promotes a medicine for children suffering from malnutrition and poor appetite. This advertisement is fitting for a slum like Pigsty Alley. It may also hint that Bone was once a thin person, because in Shaolin Soccer, the same actor played a character who was originally a lean young man. The scene where Bao gives Bone a haircut contains several noteworthy details. First, a child reading a comic book in the background. This is a reference to Hong Kong barbershops in the 1960s and 1970s, where comics were provided to keep children occupied during haircuts. Chow himself is a comic book fan, and Kung Fu Hustle is filled with tributes to Hong Kong comics. For example, the character the Beast is the protagonist from Oriental Heroes, and Buddha's palm is based on a comic book. Thus, the comic book scene is likely a deliberate inclusion. Second, after the haircut, Bao charges 50 cents. Later in the film, the landlady mentions that the monthly rent is $30. This means that Bao only needs to cut 2 people's hair per day to afford his rent. Maybe Chow is right. Bao might really extort people. At the same time, this also suggests that Bao is not an ordinary person. When Chow provokes the residents of Pigsty Alley, it becomes evident that many martial arts masters live there. In Cantonese, the term pigsty sounds similar to Siu-lung, which means many dragons. From the beginning of the film, Chow may have already hinted that this place is a haven for hidden martial arts experts. As Chow and the landlady engage in a scuffle, he throws a firecracker, unintentionally injuring the Axe Gang's second in command. This leads to the real Axe Gang's arrival, triggering the second major action sequence. The 3 martial arts masters, Coolie, Taylor, and Donut, fight back using 12-set Ton Tuai, Hungar Iron Wire Fist, and Five Sons 8 Trigram Staff, respectively. And this temporarily saved Pigsty Alley. The choreography for these fights seems to be inspired by 5 Shaolin masters, Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, and the 8 Diagram Pole Fighter. Hungar Iron Wire Fist and Five Sons 8 Trigram Staff both belong to the Hungar martial arts system. Actor Siu-lung, who plays Taylor, is a direct disciple of Wang Fei-hung, a renowned master of Hungar Iron Wire Fist. Additionally, Chow and Chu had previously collaborated on another film. Before the fight happens, there are 2 interesting details. When Jane is putting on makeup at home, the vinyl record player in the background was a luxury item in that era. Considering that later in the film, Jane has offered to help pay the rent for the 3 masters, it raises a question. Where did someone living in a slum like her get so much money? Chow seems to have already provided the answer at both the beginning and the end of the film. Additionally, the menu in the Donuts restaurant clearly indicates that Pigsty Alley is located in Hong Kong, rather than Guangzhou or Shanghai, as it features many Cantonese dishes. After the fight, the mother and child who were saved give eggs to the 3 masters. The bowl used to hold the eggs is called a rooster bowl, which was very common in Canton and Hong Kong in the past. It has even appeared multiple times in Chow's films. After the Axe Gang is defeated by the 3 masters, Sam Gore initially wants to kill Chow and Bone to vent his anger. However, Chow later unlocks his handcuff and saves them. Here, a line exchange between Sam Gore and the advisor pays tribute to a conversation between Hong Sam and Inspector Wang Qixing in Infernal Affairs. It is possible that Sam Gore's name was also inspired by Infernal Affairs, because the landlady does not want to bring trouble to the residents. The 3 masters are expelled from Pigsty Alley. The Axe Gang then hires professional assassins to kill them. The Harpists arrive at Pigsty Alley, first swiftly decapitating Coolie, then taking on the other 2 martial arts masters. However, neither Donut nor the Tailor can withstand the Harpist's skills, and both are severely wounded. At the critical moment, the landlady uses the lion's roar to break the assassin's harpist, forcing them to spare the 2 injured masters. This scene is packed with information. The fight choreography here may have been inspired by Buddha's Palm, Burning Paradise, and Deadful Melody. Pay attention to the way the 2 harpists turn their heads when they sense something. The one who can see turns his eyes toward the landlady, while the blind one tilts his ear in her direction, as he relies on sound to detect movement. This shot appears twice in the entire film, lasting only 2 seconds in total. This showcases the film crew's meticulous attention to detail. Also, if you closely examine the harpist costumes, it seems they resemble the characters from the Blues Brothers. An interesting detail is the weapon change during the fight between Donut and the harpist. If you noticed, when fighting the Axe Gang earlier, Donut used a staff, but when facing the harpist, he wields a spear. This might have a historical reference. Legend has it that the Five Sons 8 Trigram Staff martial arts originated from the Southern Song dynasty. It is from Yang family spear techniques, and is regarded as one of the most advanced martial arts of the time. It was later learned by a man named Yang Wu-lang, who sought revenge for his father and became a monk at Wutai Mountain. Since weapons were not allowed in the temple, he adapted the spear techniques into staff, creating the Five Sons 8 Trigram Staff. Perhaps before moving to Pigsty Alley, Donut had a similar background, but decided to live in obscurity. The appearance of the harpist, however, forced him to return to his old ways, using a spear again, symbolizing his reemergence into the martial world. The song played by the harpist is adapted from the ancient Pipa battle tune, The Conqueror Unarms. It is based on the tragic end of Xiang Yu during the Chu-Han contention. Through music, the film hints at the imminent demise of the three masters. And yet, they still fight valiantly. As before, Chow inserted several Easter eggs in this sequence. The building where the landlady drives the three masters out has a sign reading Pigsty Alley Neighborhood Welfare Association. In Chow's film, King of Comedy, his residence was also called the Neighborhood Welfare Association. Is this merely a coincidence? After killing the harpist, the landlady sitting in the car uses a signature Bruce Lee gesture, wiping her nose with her thumb and warns the Axe Gang leader. The actor playing the gang leader, Kwok-kwan, is considered the most look-alike Bruce Lee impersonator in history. One recurring character in the Axe Gang, Ding Xiaolong, is actually the fourth-generation successor of Bruce Lee's martial arts lineage. Additionally, the actor who plays the landlord Yuen Wah was Bruce Lee's stunt double in Enter the Dragon. The entire film is filled with tributes to Bruce Lee. Before dying, Donut says the line, "What are you prepared to do?" This comes from the American film The Untouchables, spoken by Sean Connery's character. In that movie, this line pushes Kevin Costner's character to finally take action against Al Capone. Similarly, in Kung Fu Hustle, this line foreshadows the landlord's determination to confront the Axe Gang. And the previous line, "With great power comes great responsibility," is from Spider-Man. At the funeral of the three masters, Bao is seen wearing pants, whereas in other scenes he is always half-naked. This suggests he knows when to behave properly. Interestingly, this half-naked pants-wearing style later became the fashion trend. Later in the film, Chow recognizes the mute girl as the little girl he once encountered. The poster behind them features Top Hat, a musical starring Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Chow and the mute girl's posture mirrors the characters on the poster. Top Hat is about a man and a woman who fall in love, face misunderstandings, torment each other, and finally reunite. This foreshadows Chow and the mute girl's future. The argument between Chow and Four Eyes clerk on the tram is also interesting. Four Eyes accuses Chow of having a deep prejudice against people who wear glasses. This echoes a similar metaphor found in my previous analysis of King of Comedy. Is Chow commenting on the same issue again? Realizing they cannot defeat the landlords, the Axe Gang recruits the ultimate assassin, the Beast. They send Chow to the Asylum for the Criminally Insane to invite the Beast. After the Beast is released, he encounters the landlords at a casino, leading to a chaotic battle. The landlords are no match for the Beast, as both Tai Chi and the Lion's Roar are ineffective. In desperation, they use a giant bell to amplify the Lion's Roar, forcing the Beast into a corner. However, he fakes surrender and attacks them with poisoned lotus darts. Just as the three are locked in a deadly standoff, Chow suddenly turns against the Beast, attacking him with a wooden stick. The enraged Beast beats Chow, but the landlord sees the opportunity to escape with him. The Abnormal Persons Research Center resembled the research center and movie From Beijing with Love by Chow. It was the place where Da Vinci worked, and the appearance of the Beast resembled Da Vinci. Outside the door where the Beast was imprisoned, if you paid attention, you could see a bunch of toads, hinting that this character practiced toad skill. Before Chow encountered the Beast, the hallway shot paid tribute to the movie The Shining. When the door was opened, the Beast was seen reading a newspaper, which was confirmed to be the Ta Kung Pao newspaper from December 19th, 1934. The landlady holding a bell went to find the Axe Gang. This was a double entendre. Sending a bell in Chinese means sending someone off for their final rites. The bell also became the weapon the landlady used to deal with the Beast later. The couple's martial arts scene with the Beast seemed to reference movies like The Storm Riders and A Man Called Hero. After the Beast killed Sam Gore of the Axe Gang, he took the gang to the Pigsty Alley to find Chow. The landlord couple discovered that Chow was a peerless martial artist who could heal himself, and had his meridians opened by the Beast. They used medicine to assist Chow, helping him become a true peerless master with martial arts beyond imagination. Chow fought against the Axe Gang members, ultimately facing the Beast one-on-one. The Beast used toad skill, gaining the upper hand for a moment. In the end, Chow used the Buddha's divine palm, descending from the sky to counter the Beast. Eventually, Chow made the Beast kneel in surrender. Buddha's divine palm is the most formidable palm technique in martial arts, and it is one of the classics created in Hong Kong films. Chow has also paid tribute to Buddha's divine palm multiple times in his films. The fight scene between Chow and the Axe Gang blends Bruce Lee's hand-to-hand combat techniques with the action and computer special effects from The Matrix. The brilliant action design is credited to the famous Hong Kong martial arts director Yuen Woo-ping. His brother Yuen Qiu plays the beggar who teaches Chow the secret manual of Buddha's divine palm in this movie. When watching Chow fight with the Axe Gang, the landlord couple say that if Chow had studied properly, he would have become a doctor or a lawyer. This can be understood in two different ways. First, it is said that Bruce Lee's father hoped he would grow up to be a doctor or a lawyer, but in the end, Bruce Lee chose a different path. This could be another tribute to Bruce Lee from Chow. Second, it could imply that Chow is the child of the landlord and his wife. While this might sound absurd, there are numerous details in the film that point toward this idea. The landlady says that because of her competitive nature, she witnessed her own child being beaten to death. But this death is the same as the scene where Chow is beaten by the beast. However, because Chow is a one-in-a-million talent with extraordinary self-healing abilities, whether it is a snake bite or a knife wound, he can recover after spending a night in a traffic light. Bone also asks Chow why he can heal from injuries without treatment every time. This hints that the landlady's so-called experience of witnessing her son's death may have been just an illusion. Chow also mentions in the film that in order to maintain world peace, he used the pocket money that was originally intended for studying to become a doctor or lawyer for other purpose. At the end, during the final confrontation between Chow and the beast, the landlord says that if their son had not died, he would be around Chow's age now. In Chow's childhood scenes, there is an important moment where a sign on the wall reads, Sap Ling Tan. After Chow is severely injured by the beast and is treated by the landlord couple, the location where they treat him is their own pharmacy. When the beast smells the medicine, he looks at the wall, where there is also a sign reading, the same. The landlady and Chow both say, if I don't go to hell, who will? At the end of the film, the landlord couple walk towards the candy shop run by Chow and the mute girl to buy candy for their children. Apart from the question of whether Chow is the child of the landlord couple, another point worth discussing is the ending of this film. Is it possible that the entire Kung Fu movie is just the imagination of that little boy? At the end of the film, if you observe carefully after the little boy and the little girl hold hands, the people who appear around them are all the characters who appeared earlier in the film, such as the Bao in the corner having a date, the Four Eyes clerk and Jane crossing the street hand in hand, the landlord couple and the tenant standing by the roadside directing traffic. The costumes of these people don't match the character portrayals that appeared earlier in the movie. The landlord and landlady have always been dressed in pajamas with hairpins, even smoking while injured, and they wouldn't act so lovingly. As for Bao, a person who is so reserved, would he really be out there flirting with girls? And how about his barber shop to run? What is even stranger is the old beggar. He taught the little boy Buddha's divine palm at the beginning of the film, but he also appears at the end, recommending martial art to a little boy. If you look closely, this beggar looks exactly the same like 20 years ago. Could a beggar this old really remain unchanged in appearance over 20 years? And the martial arts manuals he takes out, are they fake too? Or maybe he is just an old scammer who specializes in tricking children. The only explanation for all of this is that 20 years haven't passed. The little boy hasn't grown up, and the beggar is still the same beggar from 20 years ago. Everything is just a dream created by the little boy. After being bullied and having his self-esteem hurt, he became an apprentice at the candy store. He imagined it all. As for why the little boy saves the little girl, it's because Buddha's divine palm gave him the confidence, makes him believe he could use the peerless martial art to defeat the bad guys. After failing, he still wins the heart of the little girl. Such a story seems perfect, because when we were children and even now as adults, don't we all have a desire for a hero to save the day? No dreamer is ever too small, and no dream is ever too big. Perhaps this is the message that Chow wanted to convey through the film Kung Fu. If you like this video, please help to click like and subscribe. That would mean a lot to my channel. Thank you.